Hello, my dear friends. It was really hard, really, to make any videos recently, but today I really do feel so, and let it be just a moment for us, just sit and talk to each other. It's a really crazy time we are living in right now, and I think until the very last moment I didn't really believe that anything like this can happen in our time, in our world. And any type of war, I think, is madness. And I always wanted, and I still want, and I will always want, to see the whole world as one big family, with no limits and borders. It's great that we all have our unique features. I think that is amazing, but you know, being distinguished as Russian, Chinese, Ukrainian, Canadian, American, I think when we go really deep inside, it's just words. We are the family, and when there are conflicts in a family, when it comes to a point where a husband is violent towards his wife, or a wife is violent towards her husband, or parents are doing physical harm to children, or children doing physical harm to their parents. Every time I hear stories like this, I feel inside that when it comes to this point, it's not important anymore who was right or who was wrong. It's sick. The actions like this, it's just sick. Being human, I think, means not allowing hatred dominate over you, no matter what is happening around. Even if people on the other side are not right, or people on this side are not right. Being human is finding a way to getting out of the conflicts without hurting anyone, really. And when we hurt someone, the first one who we hurt is us. Because when we are violent towards someone, first of all, we are violent towards ourselves. And these days in Russia, it's really hard to look around and see all the hate in people, because there is a big separation, I would say, in Russian people, those who are against the war and those who think it was the right decision. And everyone on one side hates everybody on the other side. Me personally, I am against any action that leads towards harm, towards insulting anyone, towards killing anyone. There are conflicts, in our families, in our one big family, and that is understandable, that sometimes we cannot understand each other, we misunderstand each other, and we might be not ourselves sometimes. But I think being human, it means to find a way of finding this light inside of you and follow this light that is called love, allowing this love to guide you and finding a way through the situation, from the situation. You know, there is a saying that there are two wolves inside of us. One is called love and one is called hatred. And they are both very hungry. And which one of them you feed, and one day it becomes big and strong enough to devour the other. And if we allow hate to dominate in us, even if at the beginning our hatred is rightful and we think we do the right thing, but hating somebody, when the recipient of our hatred is conquered, it is on his knees and powerless, for some time we can enjoy and celebrate the victory, but do you really believe that after allowing hatred to lead us for such a long time, we will stop? I think it scares me the most in time like this, that even if we do the right thing, even if we do the right thing by supporting stopping the war, if we do it with the hatred inside, there will be still no victory. And please do not understand me wrong. I want to do whatever I can to help the war stop. And all this madness just to stop together with it, because it's not believable that we can live, you know, with such an aggression these days. But I do not want to do it with hating anyone, even those who are not right. I do want those who are not right taking the responsibilities for what they've done, but not because I hate, but because I love. And it's really scary sometimes to see what hatred can do with people, because even those who I know, the people who I know, and I know them as really kind and generous and open-hearted, and I love them for their big hearts, when they start speaking about hating and wishing some people to die, I do not recognize them anymore. It's not them. And I feel scared, because those who I love can be lost inside of this hatred. It's scary to see families starting to hate each other because one member of the family supports one side, the other member supports the other side. And I do not think that we should be actionless. I do not think we should just observe what is happening and taking no actions. Absolutely not. We should do what we must for stopping the madness. Because just as I said, when it comes to this, it's sick. There is always a way of dealing with the situation, dealing with misunderstanding through a peaceful certain way, through the conversation. It should be the only way. It's really sad to see propaganda from both sides. It's really sad to see propaganda in Russia, how people don't get the whole information, how it is maybe hidden, I don't know. In our social media, it's damaging to see that people are forbidden to support their families in Ukraine, and if they do, their bank accounts are blocked and they are taken into prison. It's heartbreaking to see how people demonstrate against the war and they are beaten on the streets and taken into prison for doing that. It's heartbreaking to see our grandparents who totally rely on social media, how they really don't understand what is happening. Not because they're bad, just because of the system we created. And it's really scary and sad and heartbreaking to see propaganda from the other side too, saying that Russians do not care at all. I feel that sometimes we are just scared to express our opinion, because when we do, we are just beaten on the streets and nobody supports us. I think whatever happens in the world, I think the most important is to stay human inside. And doing whatever we must do, allowing love to guide us, not the hatred. And that's what I'm really focusing on these days. Really focusing on helping with whatever I can. Those who are around, supporting with whoever and however I can, and also trying not to allow all the aggression and negative on social media from both sides devour myself. And when the madness stops, and it will stop, I just have to believe that it stops one day. I really want to come back to do what I was doing before, which is teaching Russian. I know it sounds funny these days, but I think it's a really loud word, the mission. But I do not want to be one of those who support the division between nations. I do not want to divide this world into us and them. It's just us. It's just one big family. And I want to stay one of those windows from which other people can look into Russian's heart and Russian's nation and what is actually happening, and that world is not black and white, that you cannot say that one is evil and one is totally good. Even about ourselves, I cannot say that I am good. Sometimes we do things we really regret. Sometimes we do things and then we are ashamed of it. But we should always try to be our best selves. And I look around myself here in Russia, and I see a lot of beautiful people, wonderful people, people who want peace, people who do not support what is happening, and people who will do whatever they can to make it stop. And I want to show this light in me and other people around. And I want to see this light through you guys, through other people on social media, through other YouTubers, Instagrammers, bloggers, vloggers, because it really scares me to think that we might come back to what was before, when in Soviet Union people thought that in America everybody hates us, and in America people thought that in Soviet Union everybody hates us, where in reality nobody really hated each other. People were just scared because they didn't know what was happening on the other side. And as one of my good friends says, I want to be this bridge from one heart to the other, to show that of course there are bad people everywhere. Of course there are people who allowed hatred to devour themselves, and they are on both sides, but there are people with light inside. And I want to believe, I have to believe, that we are in majority. Doesn't matter what country you are. Let's do what we must, but not with hatred inside. I love you guys. Doesn't matter where you are right now. Doesn't matter where you were born. I do see the world as one big family on a teeny tiny planet, moving in space with incredible speed through the universe. Our conflicts, they are so small when you look at them from the universe perspective. And yet, they are so big. Let's try to stay human in these difficult times. Let's try to stay source of light and love. Let's try to stay those parents who are growing a child. Sometimes the child is naughty and it has to be punished, but parents never do it with hatred inside. Even when actions should be made, they do it with love. And let's remember that when we hurt anybody, by action, by words, the first one who we hurt is us. Because the damage we do to ourselves is really hard to undo. I love you guys. Have a good day wherever you are. Bye bye.